Welcome back to Dreams of Science. Tonight, we drift back, far, far back to a time before there were stars, or light, or even color. Close your eyes, take a breath. Imagine the universe when it was only silence. No galaxies, no suns, just an ocean of darkness, stretching in every direction, infinite, yet waiting. And then something remarkable happened, not with a bang as the name suggests, but with a breath, a swelling of space itself. The Big Bang wasn't an explosion in space. It was the creation of space. In less than a heartbeat, everything that ever was, every atom, every star, every dream that would one day exist, was compressed into something smaller than a seed. A seed that held the future of time itself. As it expanded, the universe was not hot like a flame. It was pure, blinding energy, a cosmic dawn that filled the void with possibility. And then it cooled. The fire softened. Energy began to flow, to rest, to turn into matter. Hydrogen, helium, the two simplest elements, and yet the ones that would build everything. Imagine a sea made entirely of invisible mist, billions of light years wide. That was our young universe, calm, dim, almost empty. But within that calm, gravity began to whisper. Tiny ripples, so small they could be mistaken for nothing, started pulling things together. Hydrogen clouds drifted, merged, collapsed, and as they fell inward, they grew hot again, until, at last, in the darkness of the early universe, the first light was born. A star, the first ever ignited in the cosmic ocean. It wasn't alone for long. Others followed, scattered across the void like embers in the night. They burned short and bright, massive stars that lived only a few million years. But in their brief lives, they forged the first heavy elements: carbon, oxygen, iron. When they died, they exploded, scattering their ashes through space. And those ashes became the building blocks of galaxies. We don't know their names, these first stars, but their light still travels through the void, echoing softly across time. Scientists call it the cosmic microwave background, the faint afterglow of creation, a whisper still humming after 13.8 billion years. If you could listen closely enough, you'd hear the sound of the universe's first heartbeat. It wasn't chaos, it was a rhythm, a pattern, the first hint that the cosmos was not just expanding, it was becoming. And that's where the story of galaxies begins. Because where there is gravity and where there is matter, there will always be gathering. There will always be creation. The universe began weaving its first shapes, tiny clumps of stars drawn together by invisible strings. Slowly, patiently, the first galaxies began to form. They weren't majestic spirals yet, not the grand, swirling cities of light we see today. They were small, irregular, like cosmic fireflies caught in motion. But they had one thing in common: a shared center of gravity. Each cluster of stars was pulled tighter and tighter until the combined mass began to curve space itself. Gravity didn't just hold them together, it sculpted them. And somewhere deep in the early universe, a pattern began to emerge. Some galaxies spin faster, their gas and dust swirling into spirals. Others grew into massive elliptical forms, glowing faintly like embers of creation. From chaos came structure. From darkness came design. It's strange, isn't it, that order could rise from such vast uncertainty, that gravity, a force with no voice, no color, no intention, could create beauty so intricate, so alive. If you could stand there among those first newborn galaxies, you would see nothing familiar. No Milky Way, no constellations, just a sea of light suspended in an eternal twilight. Each glow a universe in miniature, a home to billions of stars. You'd feel small, yes, but not insignificant, because everything that would ever become you was already there in the dust between those stars. The calcium in your bones, the iron in your blood, the oxygen in your lungs, all of it was being forged piece by piece in those first stars. We are not separate from the galaxies. We are their continuation, their descendants. And though we live on a small pale planet in a quiet corner of the Milky Way, our story began here, in the silence before the first light. So tonight, as we drift through the story of how galaxies are born, remember, you are part of this story. The same atoms that formed the first galaxies now make up your body, your thoughts, your dreams. You are, quite literally, a small universe remembering itself. In the next chapter, we'll follow gravity's whisper, the invisible artist that turned clouds of gas into the first galactic masterpieces. Chapter 2: Gravity's Whisper. It begins with stillness. A universe newborn, cooling, stretching, learning how to breathe. Everywhere you look, endless fog, hydrogen, helium, drifting like smoke through the vastness. No galaxies yet, no suns, no planets, no shapes. But something unseen moves through that silence. A pull, a faint murmur that begins to gather what was once scattered. Gravity. Not a sound, not a sight, but a whisper through the fabric of existence. And though it has no voice, the universe listened. Tiny ripples left over from the Big Bang, fluctuations so slight they could fit inside an atom, became the seeds of everything that would come after. Where matter was just a little denser, gravity clung to it. And in that clinging, creation began. Imagine countless rivers of hydrogen gas, invisible, cold, and ancient, all flowing toward each other, slowly, patiently. Over millions of years they converged. As they gathered, their centers grew heavier. Atoms crowded together, pressure rising until heat returned to the cosmos. And once again, the universe learned how to shine. Each newborn star exerted its own gravity, tugging on the gas and dust nearby. Clusters began to form, then clusters of clusters, and soon the first galactic structures appeared, small, irregular, and fragile, but alive with light. Scientists call these proto-galaxies. You can think of them as cosmic embryos, the first attempts at forming something stable in an expanding universe. Gravity was the architect, but it wasn't working alone. There was another, quieter partner shaping the dance: dark matter. We can't see dark matter. It doesn't shine, it doesn't reflect, it doesn't absorb, and yet it's there, outnumbering normal matter by nearly 6 to 1. If gravity is the hand that holds the universe together, dark matter is the invisible skeleton beneath its skin. It formed vast, unseen webs across the cosmos, filaments stretching for billions of light years. Along these threads, gas and dust began to gather, settling in the valleys of this cosmic landscape. Picture an enormous three-dimensional spiderweb. At each intersection, a galaxy would one day bloom. That's the hidden structure of our universe, the great cosmic web. That's the hidden structure of our universe, the great cosmic web. Even now, when we point our telescopes deep into space, we can trace its pattern, a glittering lacework of galaxies strung across the void. It's humbling, isn't it, to realize that everything, every star, every sun, every heartbeat is part of a pattern drawn by something we cannot see. The galaxies didn't appear all at once. They formed, slowly, over hundreds of millions of years. Each began as a glowing knot of stars and dust, held together by the quiet persistence of gravity. And as more matter fell inward, something beautiful started to happen. the galaxies began to spin. The first cosmic rotations. Why did they spin? Because the universe itself was never perfectly still. Every tiny irregularity, every asymmetry gave galaxies a slight twist, and gravity turned that twist into motion. As gas fell inward, it didn't collapse straight down, it spiraled. And in that spiraling motion, galaxies began to flatten into disks. The first hints of the elegant spirals we see today. Imagine watching from far above. Rings of light and shadow turning. Clouds of gas swirling like slow hurricanes of creation. At their centers, the densest regions began to collapse into something even stranger. Black holes. Not the monstrous supermassive ones we now know, but smaller, ancient ancestors that would one day grow into galactic hearts. These black holes became the anchors around which entire galaxies organized themselves. They were dark suns, shaping light without ever emitting any. Every galaxy, even our own Milky Way, was sculpted by the invisible gravity of one such heart. It's a paradox, isn't it? That something born from collapse could become the center of so much creation. As the first galaxies formed, the universe began to hum with light. Massive stars burned hot and fast, flooding space with ultraviolet radiation. Clouds of hydrogen around them ionized and glowed, illuminating the darkness. This era, when light finally broke free and filled the cosmos, is called the epoch of reionization. It's a poetic name because it marks the moment the universe truly woke up. The fog lifted, light could finally travel freely, and for the first time, the cosmos was transparent. You could see galaxies shimmering in the distance, tiny jewels suspended in infinite black. Each one was alive with energy, but also fragile, constantly merging, colliding, reshaping. Gravity didn't just create galaxies, it let them grow, evolve, and destroy one another. We often think of space as empty, but this was a time of constant motion, a great cosmic migration of stars and gas. Over billions of years, galaxies would come together, their shapes changing like living things. Some grew into spirals, some into ellipticals, some tore themselves apart in collisions too vast to imagine. And through it all, gravity whispered, "Come closer." Every galaxy tells the same story, a story written in curves. The spiral arms that stretch like rivers of light, the halos of dark matter that cradle them, the gentle arcs of stars moving in harmony around an invisible center. It's almost as if the universe speaks in spirals. from the shells of snails to the storms in Jupiter, to the shape of galaxies themselves. This language of motion repeats again and again. Scientists call it angular momentum. Poets might call it destiny, because everything that spins, from atoms to galaxies, is conserving a memory of the universe's first motion. Every turn, every rotation, every orbit is a soft echo of that first expansion. You are part of it too. The atoms in your body, once trapped inside stars, still spin, still move, still vibrate to the rhythm of that ancient birth. Gravity didn't just build the galaxies, it set everything in motion, forever. When you look at the picture of the night sky, you're not just seeing stars, you are seeing time. The light from distant galaxies has traveled for billions of years to reach your eyes. Some of the galaxies you see tonight no longer exist. They have merged, or changed, or faded into something new. But their light remains, a love letter sent across eternity. Every time you gaze upward, you're witnessing the story of how gravity shaped everything, how it turned chaos into cosmos, darkness into form. We often think of gravity as a force that pulls down, but here, in the quiet vastness of space, it's not about falling, it's about belonging. Everything in the universe, every atom, every moon, every galaxy is connected by this invisible embrace. It doesn't let go, it only gathers. And perhaps that's the most poetic truth of all, that the same force that keeps your feet on the ground is also the one that built the Milky Way. In the next chapter, we'll step closer to the galaxies themselves and witness how their spinning disks become the graceful spirals that still decorate the heavens. Their symmetry, their color, their breathtaking order amid the chaos. This is where the universe learned how to paint. Chapter 3: The Birth of Spirals. Close your eyes again. You're floating now, not through empty space, but through light. Everywhere around you, rivers of stars, glowing gas, newborn suns, swirling through immense patterns. You're witnessing the universe's first great artists at work, and the brush they wield is motion. In the beginning, galaxies were messy, irregular, lumpy, chaotic. They looked like clouds after a storm, each one a fragile cluster of light drifting in the cosmic sea. But slowly, something began to change. Gravity, always patient, always persistent, started shaping these chaotic clouds into harmony. Every collision, every merging galaxy, every passing wave of dark matter helped sculpt the structure we now recognize as a spiral galaxy. It's strange to think about that beauty, symmetry, grace could come from something as violent as galactic collisions. Yet, that's how the cosmos creates. From turbulence comes design. The first spirals began to form when rotating disks of gas and dust found balance between collapse and motion. Gravity wanted to pull everything inward, but angular momentum resisted. And that tension, that cosmic tug of war, became the shape of a spiral. Imagine a vast whirlpool, not made of water, but of starlight. Billions of suns orbiting a common center, each one following a path curved by the invisible geometry of space-time. This balance between fall and flight is what gives galaxies their shape. They are not static objects, they are music, frozen mid-note, held in perfect tension between chaos and calm. At the center of every spiral galaxy, something extraordinary lies hidden. A black hole. Not small, not quiet, but supermassive. Millions, sometimes billions of times more massive than the sun. Its gravity bends light itself, drawing matter inward in great arcs of energy. And yet, paradoxically, it is this darkness that helps shape the light around it. As gas spirals toward the black hole, it heats up, glows, and releases energy into the surrounding galaxy. That radiation, that power, helps regulate how new stars are born. In a sense, the black hole is the galaxy's heartbeat, its silent conductor. Every spiral we see, including our own Milky Way, owes its structure in part to this central darkness. The star's orbit, the arms stretch outward, and at the core, the black hole waits, like the still eye of a storm. It's poetic, isn't it? That something so destructive can also be the guardian of balance. Without it, the spiral might unravel. With it, the galaxy endures. Now imagine drifting above one of these newborn spirals. It stretches for 100,000 light years. Each arm glows blue-white with light of young stars. Hot, fast, burning giants that live only briefly. Between the arms, ribbons of dust and hydrogen trace patterns like silk threads in the dark. In these quieter regions, cooler stars form, redder, slower burning ones, destined to live billions of years. If you could zoom in close, you'd see clusters of stars forming like blossoms, nebulae glowing pink and violet, and waves of gas rippling outward from supernova explosions. The spiral arms aren't static. They move like waves in the ocean, regions of higher density that pass through the disk, gathering matter, forming stars, and then drifting on. Astronomers call this the density wave theory. But to the imagination, it feels like watching the universe breathe. Each wave is a heartbeat, each arm an inhale and exhale of light. And somewhere in one quiet arm of the spiral galaxy, billions of years later, a small blue planet would form. Our planet, our home. The Milky Way's Orion arm, our cosmic address, is one of those gentle spiral lanes, a glowing thread in a vast cosmic tapestry. When we look at galaxies through telescopes, we see colors that tell stories. Blue, the color of youth. The bright, hot stars that burn their fuel quickly and die young. Red, the color of age. The cooler, ancient stars that still burn after billions of years. Between them, the golden hues, the middle-aged suns, like ours, steady and calm, glowing softly in the galactic twilight. And woven between these colors, dark dust lanes, like shadows painted across light. Those shadows are where new stars are forming, where gas is cooling, collapsing, and preparing to ignite once again. Every shade in a galaxy's glow is a phase of cosmic life, birth, maturity, death, and rebirth again. If you could stand inside one, on the edge of a spiral arm, you would see beauty that no human language could describe. A sunrise made of starlight, a nebulae blooming across the void, clusters shimmering like fireflies over an infinite sea. And all of it sustained by the same laws that keep an apple falling from a tree. Gravity's poetry written in light. Galaxies are not eternal in form. Their spirals twist, stretch, and sometimes fade over time. Some are disrupted by collisions, their elegant arms tangled into chaotic shapes. Others grow quiet, their gases depleted, their star formation slowing to a whisper. A spiral can live for billions of years, and eventually it begins to age, its color reddening, its shape softening. And yet, even in that stillness, new possibilities are born. When galaxies merge, their stars rarely collide directly. Space is too vast for that. But their gravity pulls them into intricate dances, arms intertwining, gas clouds colliding, igniting bursts of star formation that light up the darkness. These galactic encounters can turn spirals into ellipticals, or spark new spirals from the ashes of the old. Destruction is never final in the universe. It is transformation. Every collision, every collapse, every burst of light, a reminder that even in chaos, the cosmos finds rhythm. Scientists studying galaxies have noticed something remarkable. The structure of a spiral is self-similar, patterns within patterns, like fractals. Zoom in on a spiral arm, and you'll find miniature spirals within it, clusters of stars and dust repeating the same geometry on smaller scales. The universe seems to favor this pattern. It's not random, it's mathematical beauty. The same geometry that governs the curl of a fern or the spiral of a seashell also shapes the galaxies above. It's as if the universe writes in one language, a script that connects all scales of existence, from atoms to oceans to galaxies. The spiral repeats, whispering softly. This is how creation moves. Our own galaxy, the Milky Way, is a grand spiral with over 200 billion stars. And our sun is just one, a single unremarkable star among them. And from this one star, life emerged. And through that life, the universe began to understand itself. Think about that. You sitting here, listening, breathing, are part of that spiral. Your body is made of atoms forged in stars that once lived and died. The calcium in your bones was born in a supernova. The carbon in your skin came from the ashes of a dying star. The oxygen in your lungs was breathed out by the first galaxies. Every breath you take is the continuation of a galactic cycle that began billions of years before you were born. You are not separate from the universe. You are one of its ongoing experiments in awareness, a way for a galaxy to wonder about itself. In the next chapter, we'll step into the cosmic collisions, the moments when galaxies crash together. Chapter 4: Collisions and Rebirth. Space is vast, unimaginably vast, and yet galaxies collide. Not because they seek each other, but because gravity never forgets. Even across millions of light years, its pull is patient, persistent, irresistible. To us, the word collision sounds violent, but in the language of the cosmos, it means something gentler, something transformative. When galaxies meet, they do not shatter, they merge, they dance, they are reborn. Imagine it: two spiral galaxies, each with billions of stars, drifting toward each other over the course of billions of years. From a distance, the motion is slow, almost graceful, but when they finally meet, the result is breathtaking. Their spiral arms stretch and twist like ribbons in a cosmic ballet. Gas clouds crash into one another, triggering vast waves of star formation. New suns igniting in a storm of light. Astronomers call these starbursts, Brief, brilliant phases when galaxies give birth to countless new stars all at once. It's as if, in the moment of their union, they remember what it means to shine. But even beauty has its storms. As the galaxies pass through each other, gravity tears at their shapes. Their stars are flung into long, elegant tails, streams of light stretching for hundreds of thousands of light years. These are called tidal tails, frozen waves of starlight, remnants of the galaxy's embrace. Some of the stars will drift away forever, lost to the vastness between. Others will settle into new orbits, finding new homes in the merged galaxy that will emerge. This is how galaxies evolve, not in isolation, but through meeting, merging, and changing. Even our own galaxy is not immune. Look up tonight and you will see a faint cloudy patch across the sky. The Milky Way, our home. But if you look toward the constellation Andromeda, you will see another faint glow, a neighboring galaxy, spiral like our own. And in about 4 billion years, we will collide. The Milky Way and the Andromeda Galaxy are on a slow, inevitable course toward one another, each drawn by the other's gravity. When they meet, their shapes will distort, their stars will scatter, and for a while, the night sky will become something out of a dream, or perhaps a painting. If you could stand on some distant planet when it happens, you would see two entire galaxies filling the sky, spiral arms arcing across the heavens, their cores glowing like twin suns. It will not be destruction, it will be rebirth. After billions of years, the two galaxies will merge into one. A new massive elliptical galaxy that astronomers have already named Milkomeda, a new home born from the meeting of two ancient lights. Our sun, by then, will have long passed its prime. Earth will likely be gone, but the atoms that were once part of you will still be there, scattered among the stars of that new galaxy, still drifting, still shining, still part of the story. During a galactic merger, something remarkable happens in the chaos. The gas clouds, those vast, cold reservoirs of potential, are compressed by gravitational tides. And wherever gas is compressed, stars are born. Entire clusters ignite like lanterns. Nebulae flare into color. The galaxy bursts into life again, as if waking from a long sleep. This is the cycle of cosmic renewal. Creation through destruction. Light born from collision. And though the scale is unimaginable, the rhythm is familiar. Because here on Earth, we see the same pattern everywhere. Forests burn, but from the ashes, new life grows. rivers flood, and when they recede, the soil is renewed. Stars die, and from their dust, planets form. The universe repeats itself in every detail. Everywhere, transformation hides behind endings. Not all collisions end in beauty. Some galaxies are consumed entirely, swallowed by larger nebulous. These smaller galaxies are called dwarf galaxies, and they are building blocks of the larger ones. Our Milky Way has devoured many such galaxies in its lifetime. Even now, faint streams of stars are in our outer halo, mark the remnants of ancient mergers, ghosts of smaller galaxies long absorbed. If you could see the Milky Way from afar, you'd notice faint arcs of light looping around it, like memories still orbiting the heart that consumed them. This process is called galactic cannibalism. Sounds dark, but it's one of the universe's quiet truths. Creation and destruction are not opposites, they are partners. Without it, galaxies would never grow, never evolve, never shine as brightly as they do. Even in collision, there is order. Dark matter, the invisible framework of the cosmos, guides these galactic encounters like an unseen hand. Each galaxy moves along filaments of dark matter, their paths intersecting where the cosmic web knots itself. Simulations show it beautifully. When two galaxies collide, it's like two drops of liquid meeting on a spider's web. They merge, they stretch, and then they settle again, finding balance in the unseen tension beneath. This quiet choreography is how the universe grows, not randomly, but gracefully. After a merger, the newborn galaxy often glows brighter than ever. Its core radiates with new energy. Its shape softens from spiral to elliptical, a smooth golden haze of countless stars. These galaxies are older in spirit, their youthful arms lost to the tides of time, but their light is warmer, gentler, a reminder that growth often brings calm. And as their stars age and die, their material is recycled into new generations, new planets, new possibilities. Every merger carries with it the potential for new beginnings. In the ashes of destruction, the next generation of galaxies is waiting. Chapter 5, The Living Universe. If you ever stood on a quiet hill and looked up at the Milky Way, that faint glowing band of stars arcing around the night, you've seen the living heart of the cosmos itself. Galaxies are alive, not in the way creatures are, not with lungs or nerves or thoughts, but in their own slow, grand rhythm of becoming. They are born, they fade, they grow old, they change, and sometimes they die. only to seed the next generation. A galaxy's life begins in hunger. In its youth, it feeds on the clouds of hydrogen and helium that drift through intergalactic space. It draws them in, streams of cold gas, falling along the threads of dark matter, fueling the birth of new stars. These inflows are the galaxies breathe in, its way of gathering life. Within its glowing disk, nebulae shimmer with the promise of new suns. Each one collapses, ignites, and begins to shine. And for millions of years, the galaxy brightens, growing more intricate with each new generation. But stars are not gentle children. They live violently, burning fiercely, aging quickly, and ending their lives in bursts of unimaginable energy. Supernova, cosmic detonations that outshine entire galaxies for brief moments, send shockwaves rippling through the interstellar medium. They scatter heavy elements, carbon, iron, oxygen, into the surrounding gas. This material becomes the galaxy's exhale, enriching it with ingredients for new worlds. So the cycle continues. Inhale, gas flows in. Exhale, stars die and release their ashes. A galaxy breathes for billions of years, and through this rhythm, the universe keeps itself alive. In the Milky Way, this cycle unfolds quietly all around us. Near its spiral arms, in nurseries like the Orion Nebula, stars are still being born. Elsewhere, in the halo, ancient stars flicker weakly, nearing their end. Every part of the galaxy tells a different story in its life cycle. The center, old, dense, glowing golden, a place of heavy stars and restless black holes. The arms, young and vibrant, where new stars blaze in brilliant glows. The halo, faint and ghostly, the remnant of long ago collisions, filled with ancient stars and dark matter. It's like a living organism with distinct organs, each serving a purpose in the flow of its life. And just like us, galaxies change as they age. Young galaxies are rich in gas, energetic, chaotic, fertile. Middle-aged galaxies like our Milky Way have found balance between creation and calm. And old galaxies, ellipticals and dwarfs, have spent their fuel growing dim and red. Their star formation slowed to almost nothing. But even then, they are not truly dead. They are archives of memory, keepers of the early light. If you could zoom out far enough to see entire clusters of galaxies, you'd notice something fascinating. Galaxies don't live alone. They exist in ecosystems, sharing, colliding, feeding off one another's gas. Between them stretches a vast ocean of hot plasma, the intergalactic medium. It is thin, almost nothing, but across millions of light years, it carries the nutrients of cosmic life. Galaxies draw from it like roots drawing water from the soil. Streams of gas flow inward. Jets from supermassive black holes push material outward. It's a delicate balance, a cosmic metabolism that regulates growth and sustains life across the universe. In this way, the universe itself is a living web, every galaxy influencing the others, every cluster a kind of galactic ecosystem. If galaxies could think, perhaps their thoughts would not flow in seconds, but in epochs. What would it mean to be aware over billions of years? To watch stars live and die? To feel collisions not as violence, but as the slow pulse of time? In many ways, galaxies do remember, not through consciousness, but through structure. Their spiral arms, their halos, their chemical compositions all preserve the history of what came before. They have learned that galaxies evolve not randomly, but like living systems adapting to their environment. They grow, they balance, they regulate, they even heal after collisions. This is why some scientists call galaxies self regulating ecosystems. Even in the coldness of physics, there's a quiet wisdom at work, a tendency toward balance, toward harmony, toward endurance. As galaxies exhaust their gas, they enter a long twilight. Star formation slows. The blue light of youth fades into warmer tones of gold and crimson. Their shapes soften, their edges blur. Elliptical galaxies, smooth, featureless, ancient, are like cosmic elders, no longer birthing stars. They simply glow with the light of countless old suns. They have seen collisions, absorbed neighbors, and now they rest. And though they appear quiet, they are still part of the universe's great design, their mass helping shape the cosmic web, their gravity anchoring clusters, their remnants feeding future creations. As strange as it sounds, you carry a galaxy within you. Not metaphorically, literally, your body is a microcosm of the same principles that govern the stars. Your blood flows like gas through arteries, streams that feed your cells as hydrogen feeds stars. Your heart beats in rhythm, a pulse of energy keeping your inner universe alive. Your mind is a swirl of electrical storms, tiny flashes of light across a vast neural galaxy. And when you breathe, you mirror the breath of galaxies themselves, taking in, releasing, creating balance. The laws that shaped the Milky Way also shaped you. The same mathematics, the same physics, the same poetry. You are made of hydrogen, oxygen, carbon, the same materials galaxies inhale and exhale. And perhaps In some quiet way, you are their way of continuing that breath in miniature form. A galaxy may not think, but you do. And in doing so, you give it voice. When you look at the stars, the universe is, in a sense, looking back at itself. In our final chapter, we'll return home to the connection between galaxies and us, to the realization that the story of the cosmos is also the story of consciousness. Because we are not just made of galaxies, we are how the galaxies dream. Chapter 6. We, the Stardust. Close your eyes, you're drifting again. But this time, not among galaxies. You're drifting within one, a quiet spiral arm of the Milky Way. Somewhere between the glowing core and the outer edge, where stars pulse like scattered embers on velvet. There, in the cradle of starlight, floats a small pale world, bathed in warmth, ringed by clouds, spinning slowly beneath a gentle sun. That's where we are. That's where the cosmos has learned to look back at itself. Long ago, before Earth, before the Sun, before the Milky Way found its familiar spiral form, stars lived and died across the universe, each one a furnace where the elements of life were made. When they exploded, they cast their ashes into space, clouds of enriched gas drifting through the galactic winds. Those clouds gathered, cooled, and condensed. They formed new stars, new worlds, new chances for existence. Our solar system was one of those chances. 4.6 billion years ago, a small patch of galactic cloud collapsed, forming the sun at its center and a disk of dust around it. Within that disk, tiny grains of stardust clumped together, colliding, merging, and growing into planets. One of them became Earth. So when you touch the ground, you're touching the memory of ancient stars. When you breathe, you inhale the remnants of supernovae. When you cry, your tears carry the same elements that once fell as rain on distant worlds. You're not separate from the galaxies. You are the galaxies, assembled into a form that can think, love, and dream. For billions of years, the universe expanded without eyes to see it, without minds to wonder, without voices to speak its story. Then, in one tiny corner of one average galaxy, life appeared. It began as simple chemistry, molecules learning how to dance together, how to replicate, how to remember. But with time, those molecules began to dream. They built creatures with eyes that could look up and minds that could ask why. And in that moment, when curiosity was born, the universe became self aware. When you look at the night sky, it is not you observing the universe, it is the universe observing itself. through the lens of your consciousness. You are not a visitor here. You are not a continuation, a bridge between matter and meaning. We often say we are made of stardust, but that's only half the truth. We are stardust that has learned to wonder what it's made of. And that is the miracle. When astronomers measure the radiation left over from the Big Bang, the cosmic microwave background, they hear a faint hum. It's the afterglow of creation itself, a whisper 13.8 billion years old. It's not sound in the human sense. It's kind of a cosmic heartbeat, the pulse of everything that has ever existed. And when you slow your own breath, when your chest rises and falls, you're in rhythm with that same pulse. It's the rhythm of hydrogen becoming helium, of galaxies spinning, of stars dying and planets forming. The rhythm of existence, one heartbeat, echoing across scales so vast, so intimate, that it blurs the boundary between the infinite and the human. You are that rhythm made flesh. If galaxies are the grand architecture of the cosmos, then life is its poetry. Consider what had to happen for you to exist. The universe had to expand at just the right rate. Too fast, and no galaxies could form. Too slow, and everything would collapse. Stars had to live and die to create the elements of life. Planets had to form at just the right distance from their suns. Water had to flow. Cells had to learn how to divide. Consciousness had to bloom. All so that one day you could stand beneath a night sky and ask where you came from. It's almost unbearable in its beauty, how fragile and deliberate it all seems. And yet, none of it was planned. It simply happened, not by destiny, but by persistence. The quiet insistence of nature to become more complex, more aware, more alive. We are that insistence given form. When Carl Sagan said, "We are a way for the cosmos to know itself," he wasn't being poetic, he was being literal. Every neuron that fires inside your mind, every thought you have about the universe, is the universe reflecting inward. The infinite contemplating its own existence. You are the cosmos thinking. You are starlight contemplating starlight. That realization should not make you feel small. It should make you feel infinite. Because the part of you that wonders, that looks up and feels awe, is the same part of the universe that once ignited stars. Wonder then, is the universe recognizing itself through your eyes? We began this story in darkness, in silence, in a universe that had not yet learned how to shine. And now we end it, bathed in the glow of countless galaxies, each one a chapter in the same grand book of existence. But this isn't really an ending, it's a continuation. Because as long as you keep wondering, as long as you keep asking questions, the universe keeps expanding inside you and around you. You are made of galaxies, and galaxies are made of you. So tonight, as you drift to sleep, remember that the same laws that move stars through the sky also move the rhythm of your breath. The same gravity that shapes the Milky Way is holding you gently to the earth. And the same starlight that once traveled billions of years to reach your eyes is now shining softly in your dreams. Close them now. Rest. Because the universe is still speaking, and it speaks in the language of wonder. Sleep well beneath the same stars that made you.